Why is that playing on the outside? That is the wrong output. Hold on, I'm tinkering with things. Why is it not working? Oh, probably because I have to change it here. Like, on my actual computer. Yes, this would help. There we go. So anyways, what's up everybody? It's Wednesday, it's 3/22/23. Tomorrow will be 3/23/23. That's my birthday. Interesting year. And turning 35. If only I was turning 23? I don't know. So we have a little bit of a super serious subject today. And it's a little difficult, I'll be honest. I've been a little bit stressed about it, just because it was like so much to take in at first, and I just kind of went down a rabbit hole yesterday and got myself a bit depressy-pooed. But I think I should be fine. It does help to talk about it, but it, like I said, it will be more short and sweet because there's honestly a lot of information. There's a lot like going on here. And I'm going to provide all the sources that I'm getting this from and just explain like how I ended up down into a hole yesterday. But I do have a proactive plan, at least for myself, to take care of myself and like what to do in these incidences when I cover something that's really bothersome. And on like a personal level, and of course bothers a lot of other people too. It's quite disturbing. So, but before we get into the seriousness, let's just relax a little bit and see who pops in, wait for people to come in. I forgot to post this on Instagram actually, so, but hopefully people know how to get the memo. So we have in the house, I noticed, Laura, good to see you. Tyler, good to see you. Mistress Angelica, hello. And Cassidy, our royal lurker in the house. Thank you, Cassidy, for coming. And Mark, our moderator. Thank you so much. Where did that weed come from? I just found random weed. It's not even like my main stuff. It's just chilling in this. Anyways. That was random, sorry. That usually doesn't happen. There is no random weed. Hey Susan, good to see you. Susan is another moderator. Liz Leaf, good to see you. Hello. I think I want better glasses. I mean, these are cute, but I need something better. Hey, Cassie, good to see you. Cassie is another moderator. We got 3 moderators in the house. We're gonna wait just a little bit longer. But yeah, so yesterday I started getting into this issue before I found out. So in a nutshell, there has been like some serious email leak that provides a lot of, not surprising, but just like really disturbing information about a lot of efforts being put into just literally get rid of trans people. Care for children. They don't give a shit about children. I mean, like I said, it's not a surprise, and it's like we all think it. I mean, signs kind of point to this, something's brewing, but then here it is. So before I actually learned about that specific detail, I was actually poking around on this website, this translegislation.com. It's a really well done website. And it's full of just a ton of information. And this is where you find out, like, this is back in 2015. And then as you can see, everything here is just the legislation that's been put on the table. It's not necessarily, you know, what's passed or whatever. But as you can see, you can't see because we haven't gone to the viewing content. So we'll get to there, sorry. I'm still trying to say hello, I'm getting ahead of myself. As you can see, you can't see. You cannot see what I see because I'm not showing what I see. Oh, please hit the like button if you have not. That would be appreciated. Hello, Catkin Siren. Like and subscribe. And oh yeah, I'm just like, this is kind of a serious subject, so this will be a fairly short stream. I'm just gonna show you like kind of the way I started figuring out all this stuff, and then it, you know, the information with all the emails leaked and things like that. I'm just like, this is just like all so big, at least for me, sitting in my little room here. And yesterday I normally work and my job's outside, and it was so stormy, work was canceled, and so it was just weird, like just stormy, like super dark because the clouds were thick, like wind really like rushing. I'm surprised my power didn't go out. I know there's a lot of other people in the Bay Area whose power is out right now, but so I just got like super bummed out. And then today, I don't know, I just have like lots of anxiety. So I'm on hypertension medication, and I did take that. It's like take as needed. And normally I take like one pill, but some, like if it's, you know, more of a panic or really bad stress, then I can take two. So I did do that, but it's just kind of like, I'm not loopy or anything. It's just my heart rate can't really get up. So yeah, I'm just feeling like super bummed out and stressed. I almost canceled today because I'm like, I don't know if I really want to get into this. It's so overwhelming, but I'm going to carve a path through this, and luckily this Friday, well, I guess it's not technically my birthday Friday. Tomorrow's technically my birthday, but Friday I was like, I want to celebrate, do something fun, so there will be a path. Sometimes things are just meh. Did I hear about Uganda? No, I've been like really distracted by this all yesterday and today. I even need to catch up with what's going on with Trump. There's some peculiar things going on there. I also wanted to touch base on the fact I think like Tiger King is trying to run for president, like outside of prison or out of prison. There will be less serious things in the future. Hello, Rebecca. Good to see you. We'll wait just a couple more minutes. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I'll have to look into that after a break. It's like bad for the health to just constantly like consume really horrible stuff, and it's easy to do too. At least for me. Mark says Tiger King as a president would be awesome in a we're now living in idiocracy kind of way. Yeah. I mean, if it boils down to an absolute like choice between Trump and Tiger King, I'm just going to vote Tiger King because at least he's queer. I love the fact that like the world is just really into Tiger King because we were all just at the beginning of lockdown and no, people just weren't sure what the fuck to do. So we all just watched Tiger King. Like, I don't think that show would have ever been as popular, honestly. The devil's timing. So, I always feel like this is way more screen than I actually need. I have like this big monitor and then they make the articles like this tiny little strip down it and I have to blow it up like like 150 to 200, especially when I start reading. And there's a lot of reading, that too. Like, I don't mind reading short articles and stuff, but I'm not really a great reader, like, out loud. Oh, Mistress Angelica is talking about getting some books. That's cool. At first, I read that as boots. I'm like, what? Susan's got boots? Why wasn't I told about the boots? Are they fabulous? So yeah, just turn off the music because it's distracting me. Susan's got boots for walking. So anyways, I was like just hearing a bunch of like weird stuff yesterday or seeing it all over, little snippets here and there, and on Instagram some trans activists like speaking out against, stuff going on recently, all this new legislature stuff. And work got canceled yesterday, so I'm just like sitting here just meandering about, and I was like, well, what is being put out there? So I found this website, and it's just a tracking of all of this. And so we have here like 2015 through 2023, bathroom, locker room, sports issues, health issues, and then other. And as you can see, this really wasn't that much of a... I mean, there's definitely things being put out there, but like 2019, there's like less than 20 issues going on now. And then we just see this really huge spike, and now there's over 400. So yeah, as the legislative effort to erase transgender people from public life has gained momentum, we have witnessed a surge of bills seeking to deny access to the basic health care, legal recognition, education, bathrooms, athletics, or the right to openly exist in public schools. 2023 marks the fourth consecutive record-breaking year for total number of anti-trans bills considered in the U.S. The sheer volume of the bills is part of an escalation against transgender people at both the state and national levels. How did we get to this moment? What are the differences in types of bills we've seen in recent years? Here's an overview and developments we've been seeing. So there's a lot, we can go through this stuff, but really I just want you all to get access to this information. Every bill is lined out. So anyways, I went back to the tracker here. I'm a visual person, so I was like, wow, this is a lot of stuff, So there's nothing in any of these states. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. And it has like a timeline of things happening right now. All this stuff introduced. And the way some of these are just worded, like productivity over pronouns. Damn. I don't even think I have to read that bill. I can just get it from there. Ensuring Military Readiness Act. Like, you can go in any of these bills and read precisely what they mean. And this is about trans people being in the military. At first I was like, what? It's just like military readiness to take us out? What does that mean? That's why it's good to actually click on things. No tax breaks for Radical Corporate Activism Act. Oh, jeez. Sorry, I'm getting a little loose here. So 487 bills, 46 states, 19 passed, 425 active, and 43 failed. So, I mean, it's not extremely hopeless. It's just not looking good. Like this, you can tell this is about drag queens reading in libraries. Regulation of social workers. So I got to here to like South Dakota and this was this is translegislation.com. So I was here in South Dakota, okay? I was just like mealing about like this and I'm just like, wow, this is a lot of stuff. And I scrolled down here and I found like this introduction: affirming, supporting, and defending certain principles, values, and goals. And I'm like, that's weird. Because that doesn't even seem like really oriented about like a specific issue. But the way it reads, it just struck me as really, really odd. Like a congruent resolution affirming, supporting, and defending certain principles, values, and goals, whereas the fundamental principles of the American form of government are rooted in the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution of the United States, and the Constitution of blah blah blah, North Dakota. Whereas the strength of our nation derives from an adherence to Judeo-Christian values. I'm like, whoa, where did that come from? Because that's like very much, I feel, it's just, doesn't it seem like oddly worded in a way like they're just going to insert their beliefs and that's how they can do things? South Dakota is an exceptional place to live, raise a family, and pursue economic opportunity. The rights of American citizens proceed from God, not government, and yeah. It's just all very, I don't know, just all very odd stuff. And that's when I got like the thing where it's like all these emails were leaked where there's actually some coordination to literally end trans people. And it's done so from a very Christian nationalist perspective. It's like their holy war. So I'm like, what's going on? First, you start with Vice, right? I feel like they're always just like an introduction into things. So I found this Vice article, and it starts to give you a picture of what is happening here. Now, what's happening is these emails are between a bunch of God-fearing doctors that are putting misinformation out there and doing everything they can do to end trans people. Now, what I noticed reading in this article, and this is really freaking long, and all the emails they referenced, you can find them here in this page, the Mia blog. This is also the reporter that leaked all the information, I think, about people's flights and like how much pollution they were contributing to or something by how much they actually like ride planes or something. Or was she the one that like leaked the information, not leaked herself, but like published Elon Musk's flight stuff? But anyways, I'm not actually downloading all the mass amounts of emails, and because I just don't want to read that shit. But this article from motherjones.com has this pretty well covered. Like, this is a lot of information, and they do reference a lot to the emails and the plans that everything was put forth into motion as far back as I think like 2018. And then we're going back, let's see. Yeah, we're going back to this visual where like 2018, not so much, and then now it's really like taking a rise. Hold on, I have to blow my nose. And I still have allergies, damn it. Damn it all to hell. Oh, hey, Pooks. And Lisa, good to see you. So, on Saturday afternoon in August 2019, so way back then, South Dakota Republican State Rep Fred Deutsch, I don't know, I'm gonna go with douche, sent an email to 18 anti-trans activists. I don't know why they're calling them anti-trans activists. That's not activism. That's weird. That's weird wording. Like turf activists. Like, what? They're activating to, like, literally smudge out a whole entire people? So, anyways, doctors, lawyers, and with the text of the bill he planned to introduce that would make it a felony for doctors to give transgender children under 16 gender-affirming medical care. And he said, I have no doubt this will be an uphill battle when we get to session. Deutsch warned the group, as always, please do not share this with the media. The longer we can fly under the radar, the better. So the message was one of a trove of emails obtained by Mother Jones between Deutsch and representatives of a network of activists and organizations at the forefront of anti-trans movement. They showed the degree to anti-trans terrorists. Why don't we just call it what they are? Anyways, they show the degree to which these people shaped Deutsch's repressive legislation, a version of which was signed into law in February, and the tactics, alliances, and goals of a movement that has sought to foist their agenda on a national scale. In messages back and forth, some members of the group pushed Deutsch to make the bill even more restrictive. Bernadette Broyles, the president and general counsel of a Georgia-based law firm, and I need to pump this up. Thank you. So I can see what the fuck it is I'm looking. That is so much better. Thank you, Jan. Anyways, general counsel of a Georgia-based law firm called the Child and Parental Rights Campaign, urged him to raise the age threshold to 18. Broyles, who is also affiliated with the conservative Christian legal powerhouse Alliance Defending Freedom, ADF, warned that other religious right groups might not support the bill if you start by giving away 16 and 17-year-olds right from the outset. Others include Andre Van Mol, a member of a fringe conservative doctors group that calls itself the American College of Pediatricians, raised concerns that the bill was written that the bill as written might backfire by accidentally blocking healthcare providers from attempting to change a child's perception of their sex. When kids identify as transgender, Deutsch agreed to rewrite the section. So the leak emails reveal how his proposal helped proponents of the national movement to restrict gender-affirming care establish a playbook for their now common tax. At the time, there was little precedent for such bills, and Deutsch's legislation called the Vulnerable Child Protection Act was killed in the Senate after doctors showed up at the South Dakota State House to argue they should not be sent to prison for the following medical consensus. Though our session in SD, South Dakota, is now over and our efforts to protect gender-confused vulnerable children failed, I continue to receive ugly email and social media posts. He complained to a group in March 2020, please do not say that the South Dakota effort failed. Margaret Clark, general counsel for the Alabama branch of Phyllis Schlafly-founded Eagle Forum, replied, "You successfully inspired, encouraged, and counseled numerous VCAP efforts around the country. You established the ideal witness list that we are all still following in our individual states, and most importantly, you connected all of us to each other. This is just the beginning." So this is them all talking together how, like, just building each other up to keep working at it. Hey, Hope, good to see you. So indeed, the bill has proved influential in the recent surge of anti-LGBTQ lawmaking. This legislative session, at least 18 states have considered bills contained language closely resembling the text of the Vulnerable Child Protection Act. The leaked emails reveal how Deutsch's proposal helped proponents of the Nation movement to restrict gender-affirming care, established a playbook for their now common attacks. They very much increased sophistication since then, but the roots are there, says activist and writer Erin Reed, who tracks anti-trans legislation. Reed says that when she meets with legislators, they're often surprised to learn of the outside forces pushing anti-trans bills. This isn't coming from an in-state grassroots support system, she says. So this is like something orchestrated. David, I can't help but just say douche. I mean, it's too fitting. You really shouldn't have a name like that and do what you do. The emails demonstrate close collaboration between groups working behind the scenes to push bills banning transgender health care, including ADF, which has defended state-sanctioned sterilization of trans people in Europe. What? Which has opposed adoption by gay couples and supported conversion therapy for LGBTQ youth. Oh, well, aren't they swell? In recent years, ADF has drafted legislation banning trans children from using school restrooms or playing on school sports teams that align with their gender identity. Both groups are also staunchly anti-abortion. Well, of course they are. Which drafted the Mississippi abortion ban at the heart of the case that overturned Roe v. Wade, is currently representing ACPE-EDS, whatever, in a closely watched lawsuit to ban an abortion pill, mifepristone, nationally. Great! These groups are groups who we know are not interested in the best practice care for trans kids, says Catherine Oakley, State Legislative Director and Senior Counsel for the Human Rights Campaign. These bills are coming from national organizations whose purpose is to harm LGBTQ people. More than half of transgender and non-binary kids have considered suicide, according to a 2021 survey by the Trevor Project, and 93% say they worry about state laws denying transgender people access to gender-affirming medical care. This treatment approach, which typically includes puberty blockers for pubescent children, cross-sex hormones for teenagers or adults, and almost exclusively for adults surgeries, represents a broad medical agreement that such care can be crucial for supporting trans kids' well-being. It's like we were discussing, I think it was with Susan, there's like an amazing percentage of how trans care really alleviates the suicide problem. The suicide rate drops like 75%. So you see where this is going to go with these people's plans and why they really just want to take this care away. This treatment approach, which typically includes puberty blockers for pubescent... Oh, yeah, no, we got there. Gender-affirming care is supported by the American Medical Association, American Academy of Pediatrics, American Psychiatric Association, and Endocrine Society, and other major medical organizations. And studies have found that it is associated with better mental health outcomes for both short and longer-term periods. The organizations exchanging email with Deutsch and his other collaborators aren't shy about their agenda, several including ACPEDS? I want to say ACPEDS. Anyways, Eagle Forum and the Christian... all these fucking groups are listed as partners in a campaign dubbed The Promise to America's Children, co-led by ADF, the Heritage Foundation, a major conservative think tank also represented in the emails, and the Christian nationalist lobbying group Family Policy Alliance. The campaign pushes anti-LGBTQ legislation, claiming that the government and the media are imposing explicit sexual content on children, meaning information about sexual orientation, gender identity, and abortion. The president of the American People's Project, a member of the coalition, recently told the New York Times that his group's goal is to eliminate all transition care, starting with the children, because that's where the consensus is. So not even because... I mean, this is definitely orchestrated. This is all planned and thought out. But it's like children, it's not even like they're saying, like, we do care about the children. It's just like, no, that's just where we all thought it was best to start. Is think of the children. My God, think of the children. I'm thinking about the children. That's why I've been just kind of like really frazzled about this. And like I said, this is such like kind of like a dark day. But we will... Deutsch. That's how it's pronounced? Oh, okay. That makes sense. It's so hard not to say douche, though. It's definitely more favorable. But it is good to know that it's pronounced Deutsch. 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 Fucking douchebag. Anyways, lawmakers often seek advice from experts in law, policy, medicine, and other fields as they craft legislation. ADF Senior Vice President of Communications Greg Scott said in a statement, "That's a normal part of a healthy democracy." Privately, John Euler, a therapist who supports conversion therapy, urged the working group to respond to questions for this article by emphasizing there is no such thing as a trans kid. He later sent me a series of social media posts comparing trans people and drag performances to sexual predators. So it's deliberate. They know what they're doing. Thank you for the super chat, Rebecca. I really appreciate that. I know it's really upsetting. The emails illustrate just how long some major figures in the anti-trans movement have been incubating political attacks on transgender healthcare. For instance, Broyles, who today represents Jamie Reed, the former caseworker who has made controversial high-profile claims against a Missouri gender clinic, was working in 2020 with the ACPED's executive director, Michelle Cretella, and retired American Principles Project senior fellow Jane Robbins to compile a packet of lobbying materials in support of Vulnerable Child Protection Act bills, including the guide targeted at parents. Please share this with your legislators and feel free decimate them as widely as possible with allies. We hope they become weapons in the hands of many warriors. It gets worse. Like, this sounds like all, like, you know, strictly business, but there's a lot of language in these bills, or not bills, a lot of language in these emails between all these people that's just very bone-chilling. It's very heavy on the religion. It's almost like, I don't know, watching Lord of the Rings or some shit. Like, it's just really heavy on that type of... Why is my phone giving me a suggestion to change my wallpaper. What? I've never seen that in my life. So the 2019 bill wasn't Deutsch's first time pushing anti-trans legislation or his first time working with the Alliance Defending Freedom. A retired chiropractor, former president of the anti-abortion group South Dakota Right to Life, Deutsch was elected to the State House in 2014, and 2 years later introduced one of the earliest bathroom bills based on ADF model legislation, all the way back then. Like North Carolina's infamous HB2, the proposals attempted to block trans students from using school restrooms and locker rooms that matched their gender identity. It passed both houses of the state legislature before it was vetoed by then-Governor Dennis Daugaard, who said the bill does not address any pressing issue concerning the school districts of South Dakota. So, nobody cared. Nobody cared, and they pushed this, purposefully. No, we gotta make this a thing. We know it's not a thing. We're gonna make it a thing. According to the University of Cincinnati law professors Ryan Thorson, a former LGBT rights program researcher for Human Rights Watch, Deutsch was one of the most prominent state lawmakers nationally in pushing anti-transgender restrictions at the state level, even before we are seeing these huge waves of bills. In 2019, Deutsch tweeted that he would try to criminalize doctors who followed the Endocrine Society's clinical practice guidelines for treating people with gender dysphoria. He would later claim the idea for such a law had come from children I saw on Twitter, who told him to read Reddit forums about detransitioning. Oh no. Detransitioning, they're really latching onto this thing, see, you see all these people with regret? It's so minor, but it's so minor. It's a tiny percent of a tiny percent. And a lot of people detransition too, just temporarily, because either they can't afford it, they can't get access to anything, or they feel like there's too much pressure. They want to live covertly. Anyways, by the summer, Deutsch had quietly assembled a group of advisors, including people who had once identified as trans, only to reverse course and deny that anyone is truly transgender. They helped him workshop legislative language, supporting materials, and prominent testimony. And this is an example from the emails, which you can find all of them here on this. You can download it here. I haven't downloaded it. I don't know if I want to read the emails, but anyways, we're going to see just a little bit of it. All at once, just a note to update you on the status of Vulnerable Child Protection Act. I'm comfortable the bill and white paper are at or near final form. I have no doubt this will be an uphill battle when we get to session. As always, please do not share this with the media. The longer we can fly under the radar, the better. Please let me know if you have questions. I am grateful for your support and prayers, Fred. Alright, it was Deutsch assembled a team of Navy SEALs. We were all trained killers in a specialty. A retired U.S. Army soldier who became a vocal anti-trans advocate and participated in Deutsch's working group after detransitioning. Shoup has since retransitioned. So this person detransitioned, went through the conversion therapy, and then after they felt like it was crap, retransitioned again. Anyways, she disavowed much of her old activism and shared her copies of the working group's emails with reporters. That's how we got all this. That's how we got all this information, is because she detransitioned, went with their rhetoric, found out how horrible it was, retransitioned, and shared these emails holy fuck. Religious right rhetoric about wanting to help children with gender dysphoria is just a front for what they do behind the scenes, she says. It's like they want to do as much damage to the trans community as they can. The draft bill Deutsch sent to the group in August 2019 sparked a lengthy debate over language In one email chain, participants struggled to narrow the wording of Deutsch's bill to avoid blocking treatments for trauma victims or legitimizing the concept of gender as one separate from biological sex. Catherine Cave, a founder of the anti-trans parent organization Kelsey Coalition, suggests specifying that treatments were only banned for patients who had an incorrect perception of their sex. A child and parental rights campaign lawyer proposed replacing the word incorrect with dissonant. Phew. Richard Mast of Library Council separately advised the group to avoid saying the words transgender, cisgender, or non-binary. Using them surrenders to the language. Mast wrote, if the other's language frames the debate, we lose. So they're saying, like, the language we use, like me being non-binary and trans, like, they won't even, like, recognize that. Like, they don't even, like, people, like, they don't want to recognize that or see that at all. To them, I'm just some, like, sad, confused woman. Which is a lot of trans, like, non-binary, trans-masculine people, or trans men, especially. It's like, we're not even seen as people. We're just, like, sub-woman. And, you know, when it comes to trans women, they're seen as predators. And then for trans men, they're just seen as completely sad, subby, sorry, and confused. This goes on. Like, this is a long article, and it just goes through, like, their whole plan. Here's some email. Truth is arising in Georgia. Representative Earhart, with whom Jane Robbins and I met a couple of weeks ago, released this press statement today. She is filing our bill this legislative session in Georgia. She is a fantastic God choice to carry this bill forward, and she is working with Fred too. I am stoked for what God is doing in Georgia, including a stall to the trans activist agenda in Pickens County. We're on it, and intercessors are praying. Blessed to all. Let's see. Dear Fred, please do not say that the South Dakota effort failed. Your courage to confront everybody, just... So anyways, and in South Dakota, Deutsch finally won the long battle this February when Governor Kristi Noem signed an updated version of his bill. The new law strips licenses from doctors who provide minors with gender-affirming care and requires healthcare providers to gradually cut off puberty blockers and hormones for any kids they are already treating. That provision is expected to force some South Dakota teens to medically detransition by the end of 2023. This is where I just get really sick. Because they don't give a fuck about kids. They're purposefully stripping them of all this care because they do want them to off themselves. They want them to unalive. They know that. They know, like, the biggest factor, or, like, the biggest benefit is, like, people live. And they don't want that because it doesn't fit into their Christian, like, weird Christian nationalism. So I just, like, I guess I spent a lot of time just feeling, like, super, like, sad, just imagining kids who are getting the help they need already feeling like a mental benefit from it, and then all of a sudden somebody's gonna tell those kids who are, like, so excited about this, they're gonna say, sorry, just kidding, we're gonna get you off of this. That's gotta be really hard. That's gotta be hard. These people, literally, and you can go to motherjones.com and read the whole rest of the article. Like, it just is so crazy. there's this website. I'm gonna have to put these in the links. I'll do that. I'll do this site. I'll do the Vice article. And then the Mother Jones article. And then this website, crimew.gay. It's a weird, like, website. It even has this, like, I don't know if people can see, there's a tiny little kitty chasing my mouse. So every time I move my mouse, it chases it. And then if I hold my mouse still, then he yawns and goes to sleep. But if I move it, then he starts chasing it again. This is so cute. It's very distracting. Susan says they don't actually care about kids. If they did, they would make sure all kids had health care, free lunch if they needed it, etc. Yeah, they don't give a shit about kids. None. Not at all. As they said earlier in their thing, kids was just the consensus to start with. It was just, they were just a consensus. They're like, yeah, that's a good place to start. It doesn't matter that they're kids. I know, isn't the kitty cute? When I first came to this page and I was, like, reading stuff, at first I was like, what is this thing? Like, I'm like, it's not, like, where is it going? And then I realized, it chases the mouse. It gets a little exclamation point, like, oh my gosh, where are you going? Ah. This is too distracting. Oh my god. It will run across the whole stream. I'm sorry. Anyways, yeah, so that's it. Let me put these links, in the description below. Let's see, Vice. We'll do the Vice article. That just kind of gets you started. And then, let's see, we'll do the Mother Jones. Link. Okay, and then where you can find the emails. Okay, so all of those I just add to the description. So those are there right now. You can find them all, and you can, yes, you can see the one with the kitty. It's in the ones where you find the email. Check out all these horrible emails and a cat. Honestly, if you have to break it to me some way, that's the best way to break it to me. Like I said, I have not downloaded these. Just reading this person's synopsis of this situation, it makes me sick. And I have read through this article. It's just hard to read out loud. So, anyways, that's that. Take that information, look into it. It's really upsetting. But something that is important. So got a big face. You know, and all this that's going on. I was talking with my mother, and, you know, I told her I've been kind of upset about all of the stuff lately. And she's like, you know, if this all wasn't going on, what would you talk about? And I was like, oh, I would rather, like, just get to entertaining, and I love to entertain, and I like people to help people realize that their own divinity and that they don't need any gods telling them what to do. Certainly not their God. Their God is a psycho. Jesus too. I don't know. Not Gnostic Jesus though. But I'm like, yeah, I would talk about this stuff, and she's like, you should start doing some of that. And she didn't mean it in a way where like I don't do that, but it's just like, it's so upsetting. Like, what can you like focus on? And then even today, actually something else I want to recommend. Let's see. Something else to recommend. I watched this really great new vid by Jessie Gender. And at the end, she gave a fantastic bit about, these people are just, like, honestly, they're just scared. Trans people don't fit into their narrative, and they're doing everything they can to literally wipe us out. And it's this here, the TERFs and fascist roots of anti-trans movements. It's a really great video. In fact, I'm going to add that to the list of links. So the fascist roots of anti-trans movements, it's really, really good. And this is stuff that Jessie Gender has covered before. Like, this isn't the first time. There's been these connections made. So it's still an ongoing thing, but this is really good. It's only like 48 minutes, but she gives this really good part at the end. These people, they really don't want trans people to fit into the world. They really want their world. So trans people, the existence of them, threatens that. So they're doing everything they can to literally wipe us out. And even though that's scary, sometimes we have to remember, we're still always going to be here. Trans people are always going to be here. They're never going to be able to be wiped out. So there are some times where you really just have to focus on the good parts in life, focus on your own interest and self-worth, and I guess in a way, sort of the good parts of being trans and things like that. The more proactive things. There are more proactive and supportive things we can do as a community for each other. It doesn't always have to be focused on the screaming and the yelling and the weird table of villains who are purposefully planning to end us. I mean, those are very serious issues, but also what's very prominent is the rich LGBTQ plus community, and the strength that they have that I don't think is going to go anywhere. And we have so much to offer as people who really, our goal is just to exist. So as much as the fighting is good, the combating, the knowledge, it's also important to have the part where you exist, the part where you are you. So yeah, check that out. But anyways, that will be all today. Thank you all for hanging out with me. I know that was really short, but that's pretty much the gist of it. Our next live stream is going to be this Friday. It's just going to be like, I don't know, our usual stuff that we have fun with. Be like kind of my birthday stream in a way, even though my birthday is technically tomorrow. Yep. So, thank you so much, Imaginista, for gifting him a membership, and Cassidy got it. That's amazing. write your names on the board. It's like written in purple, so you can't see it with the blue light. Oh, thank you so much, Rebecca. I really appreciate that. And thank you all for sitting through this with me. You know, it does feel better to talk about it instead of sitting here in the storm by myself with my feelings. But happy early birthday. Thank you. I am turning 35 this year. Holy shit. I am not 35. Hello, Roxyard. Thank you. All right, yes. Next stream, Friday night chat. Oh, Ontology Dragon. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I do love to create content, and I love to live stream, and I love to entertain. So we'll get back at that Friday. Being loud and proud. So, I want to roll the end credits, but they're, like, outdated. I need to update them, so we'll do that for Friday. I'll make sure to update the ending credits. Oh, thank you so much, Laura. I really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. All right, everybody, have a good night. Take care, and we'll see you Friday. Oh, and thank you to our moderators. Shout out to our moderators for being here and keeping the place safe and stuff. Susan and Mark, if you want to drop your links to your channels, please feel free to do so. Always appreciative of our moderators. All right. Rolling the credits. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you Friday. Nah.